En hierdie vraag het ek myself tevrede gestel as 'n landdros dat hierdie bekentenis wat hy van voorneme was om te maak, wel vrywillig en ongedwonge gemaak sou word.
There was a line of questions that was put, and which then eventually led to the question that is the witness now just read. And as a result of that, I then, as the magistrate, satisfied myself that the statement or the confession that it was made freely and voluntarily. Kunombuzo ke lana obhaliwe athi ke iwona ke uma uphendula ke noma uphendula ke lokhu okubuzwa uyena ummeli ukuthi manje ke usungitshelile ke ukuthi akekho okugqugquzelile, akekho okushayile, akekho okusabisile ukuthi wenze sona lesi statement, nokuthi azikho izithembiso ezenziwe kuwena ukukushintsha ke umcabango ukuthi uze uzokhuluma la. Ngifisa ke manje futhi ukuthi ke wena ke ngifisa ukucela ukuthi ungethembeke futhi ke usho ukuthi ngovo lwakho ingaba khona yini ongahambanga kahle noma ongahambi kahle okushiwo kuwena noma okwenziwe kuwena ukuthi uzokwenza lesi statement. Ngiyaqinisekisa ke ukuthi insolo zakho zizothi ke zinakwe. Wase ephendula ke ethi cha akukho okukanjalo.
Thank you.
Ek wil dit net regstel. Want ek sien dit het bietjie verlore gegaan in die tolkwerk. Dit is ten opsigte van die verklaring, die bekentenis wat gemaak sou word.
Okay,
nie wat al reeds gemaak is nie. Wat gemaak sou word.
I just wanted to just rectify this, and I see that it got lost in translation. And just before I get on, my lord, I did request the witness. She makes very long statement, so it is possible that it might get lost. So can you hear that?
Yeah.
That in the statement that was about to be made, not already made.
Mrs. Cronje, I believe from what you were reading, it's the wording of a particular paragraph, which as a magistrate, you think it meets the requirement.
Meneer, ek het by vergewis dat hierdie verklaring, die bekentenis wat hy wou maak, vrywillig was gebaseer op die antwoorde wat hy gegee het.
Sir, I satisfied myself that this statement or this confession that he intended making was freely and voluntarily based on the answers that he provided me with. Ngaze nezake mina ukuthi statement lesike awayefisa ukusenza noma awayezosenza ukuthi wayezosenza ngokuphuma kuyena ngeimpendulo ayinginikeza zona.
I will maintain on the wording of the paragraph. It was already a prepared wording which you read to the deponent. It's not something that is coming from the deponent to mean freely. He was answering something that has already been prepared.
Advokaat, met alle respek, dis nie die enigste vraag wat gevra is om tot daai gevolgtrekking te kom nie. Ek het die vraag geantwoord en ek volstaan by my antwoord.
Advocate, with due respect, that is not the only question that was asked or that was put to him with regards to that. I've already provided my answer and I still maintain it. Akusiwona ke wodwa lombuzo engiqeda ufunda manje owabuzwa nokuyena ke ngokumayelana nalokho ke impendulo sengikunikezile futhi ngimileke kuleyo impendulo engikunika yona.
U vra vir my of ek daar in hierdie pertinente vorm die woorde basies het van het u die of is u van voorneme om hierdie verklaring vrywillig en ongedwonge te maak. Woorde tot daai effek. Hierdie vorm het dit nie. Ek is ook nie bewus van 'n statutêre vorm wat dit het.
Okay. You've specifically asked me with regards to the words freely and voluntarily. And this particular form doesn't contain or have those words. And I know of no statutory form that contains those words or those two words. Ungibuzile ke mayelana lamagama amabili ngokukhulekile nokuthi futhi ke awuphoqiwe. Awekho lawo magama. Lana ayikho neform futhi engiyaziyo enawo.
And I would actually appreciate to answer me as a witness, not as a magistrate. As a witness that has been sworn in. My question is,
Mr. Mgumezo, she's a magistrate.
yes,
I-
my lord, that cannot
no,
change.
You're saying she must answer you not as a magistrate. She is a magistrate.
She is a magistrate,
Yes.
my lord, that cannot change.
Yeah, that's
But she must, I'll make an example of Nelson Mandela, my lord. He was a witness in the matter of Louis Late. He has never been addressed as a president of the country at that time. There must be a distinction between your position and as being sworn in as a witness.
Yeah,
Hence,
sorry, yeah, you may have a point
she
about...
can easily say, advocate. I mean, she's inviting me to draw such conclusions.
No.
As I'm requesting the court for the protection of this witness, as the duty of the court, she must understand that where she is seated, she is a witness.
Yes.
The evidence that she's going to, I'm talking about parole evidence here. That's the oral evidence that you are giving. What you did outside is an extrinsic evidence. We are trying to follow the extrinsic evidence, whether you complied with it. You are the witness to say that. Hence, if I'm saying get into the answers, the wording, let's look at paragraph 1A, for instance. Can you please read it for me?
I inform the deponent that I am a magistrate.
Thank you. Stop there. Thank you. I just want to go through the wording.
Ngimazisile-ke loyo owayephambi kwami ukuthi ngiyimantshi.
What were you expecting from the deponent? If you, that forms, tell the deponent that you are the magistrate. What does it say?
Meneer,
Was it necessary for that form to say, I'm the magistrate?
Natuurlijk moet die man weet vir wie hy verskyn. Hy behoort te weet in watse omstandighede hy hom bevind, waarheen hy gevat is, voor wie hy verskyn, met wie hy praat.
Yes, of course he had to know before whom was he appearing, the circumstances under which he was or he found himself in. Kwakumele ukuthi azike ukuthi uphambi kobani, ukuthi futhi nesimo ke aye ngaphansi kwaso.
The introduction in the presence of an attorney, your introduction in the presence of the attorney, was that not sufficient enough for him to believe that you are a magistrate?
Meneer, op daai stadium het ek nog nie vir enige iemand gesê dat ek 'n landros is nie. Niemand sou geweet het dat ek 'n landros is nie. Ek het nie 'n toga aan nie. Ek's in siviele drag en ek's in 'n kantoor.
At that stage, I hadn't informed anyone that I was a magistrate. No one knew. I wasn't wearing my gown or my robe, and I was in my civilian clothing, and I was in an office.
That
Ngaleso
means-
sikhathi leso ke akekho umuntu engangimtshela ukuthi ngiyimantshi, ngangagqokile ke igown noma irobe yami yokuthi ngiyimantshi, ngigqoke nje ingubo zami ke futhi ngisehhovisi.
Hierdie man het gevra om na 'n hof toe gevat te word. Hy word in 'n kantoor ingevat met 'n persoon met siviele drag.
This gentleman requested to go to court, or this gentleman requested to be taken to court. He is then taken into an office with a person who is in civilian clothing.
Can we-
Umuntu lona wacela ukuthi athathwe asiwe enkantolo.
Can we
Usuyang-
not? Sorry, sir.
Usuyangena ke manje ungena kwihhovisi elinomuntu oyigqokele nje ingubo zakhe.
I'm asking you, Mrs. Cronje, do not involve or say something that is not asked. My question is, before you completed, there are particulars of the deponent on top there, which you got from either the lawyer or the deponent or the investigating officer. Do you understand?
Ja, ek verstaan wat jy sê.
Yes, I understand what you say.
My question is it, according to that paragraph 1A, was it necessary to mention that you are a magistrate?
Natuurlijk.
Does that not
Of course.
constitute inducement?
Nee.
No.
I'll leave it for argument. My submission and I'll put it to you that pro forma on its own, it has on a face value of it We call it a patent defect. It has an element of inducement. If you say, I'm a magistrate, that means already you sway the impulse of the deponent. Do you agree?
Nee.
No.
Thank you. I'll leave it for argument. Proceed. I'll stop you wherever I want you to stop. Proceed with that paragraph. You said, I'm the magistrate, comma.
And I'm not in any way involved in the
Thank you.
investigation.
Thank
Futhi ke
you.
angisiyona-ke ingxenye yophenyo.
He did not ask. You are telling him. You are making him comfortable, according to, am I right? I'm a magistrate. I'm not involved in the investigation. You are making the deponent comfortable. Is that not so?
Dit sal die effek hê.
That will have that effect. Yes. Yebo ke lokho ukuthi ngimtshela ukuthi angisiyona i-magistrate, asole ngiyi-magistrate futhi ke angisiyona ingxenye yophenyo. Into ke leyo engamenza ke ukuthi ke naye ke abe akhululekile.
Hy het ook 'n reg om te weet hoekom hy daar is.
He also has a right. Sorry.
Waar ek inpas.
Also has a right to know as to why he was there and where do I fit in.
don't
Futhi
answer-
wayenelungelo lokwazi ke ukuthi ngiyubani mina ke nokuthi kungani elaphayana nokuthi mina ke ngihlanganiswa yini nalokho.
Don't get emotional, ma'am. Answer my question as I ask you. Because I followed the logic. If you say, I made him comfortable, I'm satisfied, there's a next question to follow. Do you understand?
As a court case, I don't know what is the basis for saying the witness is getting emotional. I think if my learned friend can just confine himself just to asking questions without taking the witness.
My Lord, when I'm asking the question from the witness and tends to say things which do not relate to my question, as it has been indicated that is a magistrate, he is actually getting out of the scope of the profession. Hence, I just want to confine the magistrate or the witness, not the magistrate, the witness on the line of questioning, because I've got the reason to stick on that paragraph 1A.
Sorry, Mr. Gomezul, I don't wish to interfere. Doesn't Section 217 speak of a magistrate who can take, is approached by her senior, Mrs. Duplessis, as a magistrate to go and take a confession? It's just egregious that she happens to be a witness, but she is also a magistrate. And she, when she was told, asked or requested by Mrs. Duplessis to take a confession, she was being instructed to do or requested to do so as a magistrate, as stipulated in Section 217 of the Constitution.
Thank you.
I mean, of the
May
Criminal Procedure Act.
May I clarify that?
Yes, okay.
The reason why I want to clarify is because we are a provision specifically say it must be made before the magistrate. It does not introduce the magistrate to the taking of the confession. I'm not sure if you understand,
No, I
but
don't.
I said I want to leave it for argument.
Yeah.
May I repeat what I was submitting before the
Yes,
Lordship?
yeah, okay.
My Lordship is that Section 217, a magistrate.
Yes.
But now, you are the magistrate, you've got the forms from Mrs. Duplessis, everyone, especially in the presence of an attorney. She should have actually introduced herself to say, I'm the attorney, I'm the magistrate who's coming to take a confession. I was told that I must come and assist in the taking of a confession. Now, my concern is about the patent defect that is on that pro forma. Because
Okay.
when you introduce yourself in the in a statement where he must freely make a statement. There's no point what I've done.
No, the question, no. What would you have said? Because you say she was not supposed to have said, I am a magistrate. Now I'm just inquiring, what should she have said?
Meaning, my lord, must I correct the pro forma according to the...
No, I'm just asking you.
To do it when it comes to that. A person with 50 years confessions that she has made, they don't see the element of inducement in that paragraph A. Because all that the deponent was going to say is because he believed, and I'm not done with that paragraph. May I still proceed with that paragraph?
Work with the police or any other person in this case, and that he can speak freely and without fear in my presence.
Nokuthi ke angisebenzi
Hence,
I've never claimed that it
directed in terms of that wedding. You are a magistrate. But you further say you can. Do you understand what I'm saying?
he had a choice to speak or not to speak. It was his choice.
ukuthi ke akhulume angakhulumi kwakuyena lokho.
If I'm not mistaken.
Answer given by the deponent at that point in time, because I continued to explain to him paragraph B and C before I asked him if he understood the explanation.
Ayikho ke impendulo awayinikeza ke ngaleso sikhathi leso ke ngoba ngaqhubeka ke ngayo paragraph C B kanye no paragraph C ngaphambili kokuthi ngimbuze ke ingabe uyezwa ke lokhu engiqeda ukuchaza.
Let's hear what paragraph B says.
You also informed that if necessary, you will be afforded protection against any irregularities.
Thank you, stop there. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Futhi nokuthi atshelwe ke noma ke watshelwa ke ukuthi uma isidingo sikhona ke uzovikelwa noma uzonikezwa ukuvikeleka kuko nakuphi ke okungahambi kahle.
Is that not a promise? Is that not a promise?
Construed as a promise.
Ukuthi yebo isona isithembiso lesi ngokuthi uyatshelwa ke uma kuukuthi uzizwa ngathi ke ukhona ke noma ke uyesaba ukuthi ke amalungiselelo.
I ended where you said he will be protected, and you considered that it amounts to a promise.
Hy is nie gesê dat hy will be protected nie. He was informed and
Kuchazwa ke ukuthi uma noma ke uma isidingo sikhona ke uzothi aqinisekiswe ke ukuthi uyavikeleka.
Did you explain what kind of irregularities you were referring to?
nee,
No, angishongo ke ukuthi uma ngikhuluma ngokuthi ke uma kuukuthi kukhona ke ongazange kwenziwe kahle noma kuhamba kahle ukuthi ngangishoni ngangikhuluma ngani.
Did you establish whether the deponent understood what you meant by irregularities?
nie op daai stadium nie.
Not at that stage. Ngaleso sikhathi ke shongo ke noma ke ngiqinisekiseke ukuthi uyezwa ke noma uyazisisa yini ukuthi ngisho ukuthini uma ngikhuluma ngokungalongo ngokungenziwanga kahle noma ngokungahambanga kahle.
To put it on record, what irregularities were you referring to?
Enige iets.
Anything.
Enige beïnvloeding, enige dreigemente, enige iets wat gebeur het.
Nee.
Want dit kan enige iets wees wat uit sy oogpunt onreëlmatig is.
Okay. And I was referring to anything, any influence, any threats that were made, anything that could, in his eyes or in his view, could have then been an irregularity. I
Dis
was
nie aan
referring
hom
to.
verduidelik wat dit is van my kant af nie, want ek wou hom nie beïnvloed het daaroor nie. So as hy ongelukkig was oor enige iets, dan sou hy dit vir my gesê het.
It was not explained to him at that stage as to what irregularity is. If there was anything, then he would have informed me or told me about it.
Hy
Ukuthi-
moes wel geweet het dat hy my in sy vertroue kon neem om enige probleme wat hy gehad het, enigiets wat hy beskou het as 'n onreëlmatigheid te kon noem.
He had to know that, or he knew that, or what he had to know was that kwakuwukuthi kwakufanele azike ukuthi nokuma yini ke eyayenzekile futhi engazange yenzeke ngendlela noma ngendlela kwakufanele ukuthi yenzeke ngayo angitshele,
Sonder dat daar enige idees in sy kop geplant word.
without putting any ideas into his head, ngaphandle kokuthi nje ubusufaka ke noma yini ke ekhanda lakhe noma ke umfakele nje ama ideas ekhanda lakhe.
But with regard to irregularity, we are the only one who knew about or the context or the content of irregularity. That has never been explained to the deponent. That's my point. You're the only one who knew about irregularities.
Ek was nie bewus van enige onreëlmatigheid op daardie stadium nie, meneer.
I wasn't aware of any irregularity at that stage, sir. Ngangingazi ngalutho ke ekwangabe yenzeka ke engazange yenzeke ngendlela ngaleso sikhathi leso.
Can you get back? Let's get to paragraph C.
This is not a trial and I'm not hearing any charge against you.
Akusikona ke lokhu ukuqhula kwecala futhi ke angilalelanga angizange lana ke ukuzolalela icala noma amacala owethweswayo.
All right. That's very important. At the time, Ntanzi was interviewed by you, specifically on the paragraph 3, on paragraph C. Did he appear you as an accused person? Did he appear you as a suspect or any person who wanted to make a confession before you?
Ek verstaan nie u vraag nie.
I don't understand your
May I
question.
rephrase it? At that time, Ntanzi appeared before you on the 24th. Have you ascertained whether he has been charged or he was not charged or he was just an ordinary civilian who wanted to make a confession? Have you established that?
Ek het nie daai vrae in daardie opsig gevra nie, so ek was nie seker of hy al reeds aangekla was op die enigiets nie. Ek het hom hanteer asof dit 'n persoon is wat na my toe gekom het omdat hy bekentenis wou maak op wat hy ook al wou sê. Op daai stadium het ek nie eens geweet wat dit was nie. Maar ek
I
het
did
nie
not ask the question
vasgestel.
in that form or in that manner. So I wasn't aware or I didn't know as to whether he had been charged. I just took him as someone who came before me to make a confession.
Yes.
Ngaleso sikhathi ke ngangamazi ke noma wayesethweswe amacwala noma cha ngangimthatha ke ukuthi nje umuntu oze kumina ke ofuna ke uzokhuluma.
But prior to the completion of the pro forma, did you converse or speak to the investigating officer of the case?
Ja, in sy teenwoordigheid toe wel ek weet nie vir die ondersoekbeampte dis nie, ek het maar aangeneem. Toe sergeant Mugwane vir my homself bekend gestel het en vir doeleindes van die voltooiing van die vorm ek hom gevra het vir die polisiestasie en die kasnommer, sou dit nie beskikbaar gewees het nie, sou ek net daar geskryf het, not available or unknown.
Yes, in his presence, that was at the time that when I spoke to Sergeant Vusumuzi Mukhane, that's when I made inquiries with regards to the police station as well as the case number. If it wasn't there, I would then just have written not available. Ngakhuluma ke naye ke she also said that I wasn't aware or I didn't know whether he was the investigating officer or what. Ngakhuluma ke naye uMukhane lona ke inkathi ke ngangibuza imininingwane yalo icala ukuthi police station yipi, i-case number yipi. Uma kuukuthi ayingekho ke ngangizobhala ke lapho ukuthi cha ayikho leyo mininingwane.
Met sekere konfessies of bekentenisse kan dit nie verskaf word nie want daar's nie 'n dossier geopen of geregistreer nie en dan skryf ek niks in daar nie.
With certain or certain or some confessions, it is that information is not there simply because maybe there is no docket that is no docket exists at that stage. So I would then not write that because it is not contained.
Met ander konfessies wat ek al hanteer het, is die persoon of is daar 'n dossier geopen, maar niemand is nog formeel aangekla nie. So met ander woorde, daar's 'n kasnommer, maar niemand is nog formeel op die saak aangekla nie. So ek kan al reeds die inligting hê met die konfessie, maar die persoon kan of aangekla wees of nie aangekla wees nie.
With certain confessions, it is so that there is already a docket, but no one has yet been formally charged. So there would be some information. So it's either a person has been charged or a person has not yet been formally charged. Kwamanye ke amacala noma kwezinye izitatimende kuzothola ke ukuthi idocket yebo likhona ke kodwa akekho umuntu oseboshiwe.
In hierdie geval weet ek nie of hy wel al aangekla was of nie ten opsigte van die beskikbaarheid van die inligting van die dossier.
But in this particular case, I didn't know as to whether he had been charged or not with regards to the available information regarding this docket. Kodwa ke kuleli icala ke ngangazi ke ukuthi wayesethwesiwe yini noma wayesethweswe yini amacala.
Before we move on to paragraph 4, I think other paragraphs were reduced. And the other paragraph relates to a minor. But for the benefit of the public, does the taking of a confession prescribes a jurisdiction, a place where it's supposed to be taken?
Nee.
No. Ukuthathwa ke kwayo i-confession akusho ke noma ke achazi ukuthi kunendawo ethize ekufanele noma uma ngaphansi kwendawo ethize la ekufanele ukuthi ithathelwe khona.
Are you aware that the deponent was arrested at Rustenburg?
Nee.
No. Angazi ke noma angikwazi ke ukuthi wayeboshelwe eRustenburg.
Are you aware that the deponent was arrested on the 16th of June 2020?
Hy het my so meegedeel dat hy gearresteer was op die 16de Junie.
He informed me as such that he was arrested on the 16th of June. Wangitshela yena ke ukuthi waboshwa nge-16 zika June.
Let's move to paragraph 4. Sorry, Mr. Balance. My Lord, I request an adjournment.
What time is it?
5 to 1.
5 to 1.
Yes.
We can resume at 2.
2 o'clock, okay? 2 o'clock, we return.
public. I'd like to benefit the public so that they will have knowledge of what is happening. An accused person is somebody who has already been charged. Am I right?
Dis korrek.
Umsolwa noma ke umangalelwa umuntu osetheswe amaqala vele.
Before he is charged, he is a suspect. Am I right?
Dis korrek.
Ngaphambilini kokuthi ke abe uyacharge noma uthweswa amaqala uba umsolwa.
You were approached with a person. Eventually, you took a confession and completed a pro forma with an incomplete information that the person in front of you is not either a suspect nor an accused. Is that so?
Dis korrek.
Kunjalo ke ukuthi inkathi ke ngigcwalisa le form bengazi noma ukuthi ngumsolwa umuntu oseboshiwe osetheswa amaqala noma cha.
Right. In other words, the accused person or the deponent, I'll refer him as a deponent. In your own opinion, was it irregular for you to take a confession on a person that you have not satisfied yourself that he has been charged?
Nee.
No. Kwangekho ke okungekho noma ungahambi kahle ukuthi ngithathe noma ke i-confession lena kumuntu engingamazi ke noma sethweswa amaqala noma cha noma uboshiwe noma cha.
And it is your evidence that you have explained the constitutional right of the deponent. Is that so?
Nou wat se konstitusionele reg het jy verwys?
Which constitutional right are you referring to?
Okay, a right to remain silent. E.g., a right to remain silent. A right not to self-incriminate.
You just give me a moment just to refer to my document.
Dis korrek, bladsy 4, paragraaf 6.
That's correct. Page 4, paragraph 6.
Kan ek hom lees?
Can I read it?
I'll tell you to read. Just a moment, ma'am. Yes. Just a second. I'm trying to peruse that paragraph. All right. Can you please read it?
Paragraaf 6. En ek hul aan. I informed the deponent that he has the right to remain silent and that nobody can force him to make a statement, and that if he chooses to make a statement, nobody can force him to divulge any self-incriminating evidence or information rather. And his answer was, I understood.
Lana ke kubhalwe ukuthi ngase ngimtshela ke ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi angathula angasho lutho nokuthi akekho umuntu ongamphoqa ukuthi enze istatement nokuthi uma ke ukuthi ukhetha ukwenza istatement leso akekho umuntu ongamphoqa ukuthi ke asho noma yini engamhlanganisa naye ke necala ke noma ukwenziwa ke kobulelesi nga impendulo yakhe yathi ngiyezwa.
Ek het voortgegaan in dieselfde paragraaf en vir hom gevra en ek hul aan, do you wish to remain silent or do you wish to continue to make a statement? En sy antwoord was, I want to continue to make a statement.
I then proceed, and then the next question is the one where it says, do you wish to remain, oh sorry, it's in English. Uyafisa yini noma uyafuna yini ukuthula ungasho lutho noma ufisa ukuqhubeka ukuthi wenze istatement? Impendulo yakhe yase ithi ke ngiyafuna ngokuqhubeka ngokwenza istatement.
So, may I approach my colleague?
Yes,
my
yes,
lord?
yes.
So, my question is, when you explained that right, you explained the right that is provided by Section 35 of the Constitution. Is that correct?
Dis korrek.
That is correct. Yebo kuyiqiniswa-ke uma bengichaza lokho okubhaliwe-ke noma okhona kuye-ke usection 35.
Can you please read Section 35, especially, Section 35(1). Or, sorry, let me just be specific. Can you please read Section 35 in conjunction with the rights that you have explained, that you have already given to the court? That are the rights that you explained to the court.
Moet ek die hele section 35 lees?
Nee. Just the right, Section 35, and specifically to the provision that relates to remain silent.
Artikel 35 sub 1A, na aanleiding van die boekie wat nou in my oorhandig is van die Konstitusie, lees as volg in Engels, en ek haal aan: Everyone who is arrested for allegedly committing an offence has the right to remain silent. Dit is in subartikel A.
That's in subsection A. The witness says this, quoting from the booklet that has just been provided to her.
Moet ek
Everyone-
voortgaan?
Should I proceed?
Just a second, ma'am. I'll tell you to proceed. And the other one that relates to self-incrimination.
Artikel 35(1) subartikel B gaan voort en bepaal die volgende. En ek haal aan: to be informed promptly, Roman 1, of the right to remain silent, and 2, of the consequence of not remaining silent.
Thank you.
Lana-ke ikhuluma-ke ukuthi-ke ilungelo-ke lokuthi ungasho lutho nokuthi futhi imiphumela yokuthi noma-ke ukhulumeke ukuthi ingaba yini uyena-ke lowo usection 35.
Was it not important to inform him that he is still presumed innocent until proven guilty? Was it not necessary to?
Ek sien nie die nodigheid en het nie die nodigheid gesien hoekom dit in 'n bekentenis pertinent aan hom genoem moet word nie.
I don't see.
Hy is
Sorry. May I proceed? Yes. I don't see, or it didn't see the necessity or the need in a confession to say or to mention that to him. Yeah, come on.
Hy was verteenwoordig gewees deur 'n rasverteenwoordiger ook.
He was also represented by a legal representative. Ukuthi-ke ngimtshele-ke ukuthi umuntu-ke kufanele futhi-ke noma-ke umuntu ngimtshele lokho angisibonanga isidingo ngoba-ke ebenommeli aye naye ngalelo langa owayekhona futhi lapho.
Dis 'n beginsel van ons reg dat alle persone beskou word as onskuldig totdat hulle in 'n strafhof bo redelike twyfel as skuldig bevind word.
It is a principle of our law that each and every person be presumed to be innocent until proven guilty by a court of law. Kuwumthetho-ke okhona lana-ke eNingizimu Afrika ukuthi-ke nawubani-ke ovela enkantolo ukuthi loyo muntu-ke uthathwa nanjengomuntu ungenacala kuze kufinyeleleke kwisigaba la khona-ke kuthiwa-ke uselahliwe amacala.
En het ek in lig daarvan dat dit nie 'n verhoor was, nie nodig geag om hom as sodanig in te lig nie.
And then as a result of me then considering that not to be a trial, then did not see the need to inform him as such. Ngenxa yokuthi-ke kwakungaqulwa cala-ke ngaleli langa angizange-ke ngisibone isidingo sokuthi ngimtshele lokho-ke ukuthi cha bona-ke manje njengoba ula phambi kwami-ke umsulwa-ke kuze kube yisikhathi-ke noma isigaba la khona-ke inkantolo isithi-ke wena ulahliwe amacala.
Hy is op geen stadium van die verrigtinge ten opsigte van die bepaling of hy voor my is vir hierdie bekentenis vrywillig, ongedwonge, sober en nugter by sy volle positiewe en verstand hanteer as 'n persoon wat skuldig is wat sy onskuld moet bewys nie.
At no stage whilst he was then before me, and as he was that informed that he would be doing this freely, voluntarily, that he was in his sound and his sober senses. At no, he was at no stage at that time then considered by myself as someone who had to prove his guilt to me.
May I just put it to you, as a person who has a legal expertise, that you were under a legal duty or obligation to explain the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, because the effect of taking a confession does not conclude his conviction.
Ek
What
neem
is your
kennis van die
comment?
opinie.
I take note of the opinion.
Thank you. Let's proceed. Can you please assist me to read a provision relating to 48 hours? I think it's 35.3 if I'm not mistaken.
In artikel 35 subartikel 1 D Romeinse 1, to be brought before court as soon as reasonable possible, but not later than the 48 hours after the arrest, unquote.
Lana-ke sichazwa-ke noma ufunda lana-ke ingxenye la ekhuluma khona-ke ngesikhathi umuntu akufanele-ke ayovela ngaso enkantolo ngaphambi emuva kokuthi eboshiwe.
The deponent or the accused, Mr. Ntanzi, was arrested on the 16th of June 2020 and brought to you on the 24th of June 22. I'm talking about 8 days from the date of arrest. Do you know that?
Ek het dit ook opgemerk.
I also noted it or marked it as such. Nami-ke ngaqaphela-ke ngaleyo ndlela-ke ukuthi kwakusemuva kwamalanga awu-8 aboshwa-ke nkathi elethwa phambi kwami.
And when he was brought to you, that's my instruction, when he was brought to you to take a confession, he was not taken to court. He never appeared in court within 48 hours.
Ek dra geen kennis of hy verskyn het of nie. Dit is nie binne my kennisveld gewees op daai stadium nie.
I have no knowledge as to whether he did go to court or not. It was not within my knowledge at that particular time. Ukuthi wayeyileke enkantolo noma akayanga-ke phambi kwemantshi angikwazi-ke lokho, akusiyona into engangiyazi ngaleso sikhathi leso.
In the normal course, when you are presiding as a magistrate, when an accused is brought after 48 hours, what normally happens in court for the benefit of the public? If a person is brought after 48 hours has lapsed, what normally happens? What is your decision as a magistrate?
Normaalweg persoonlik as landros in 'n strafhof hou ek 'n artikel 342A ondersoek en verwyder die saak van die rol as die omstandighede dit noodsaak.
342A. Under normal circumstances, and I would then hold a section 342A inquiry, and if need be, I would then strike the case from the court roll. Uma ke kuyisidingo noma uma umuntu elethwa ke phambi kwenkantolo emuva kwamahora awu-48, ngizothi ke ngenzeke noma ngifiseke ukuthi ngazi noma ke ngenze lokho abakubiza ngokuthi inquiry ke yakhe section 342A, uma kunesidingo ke lelo cala lelo ke ngilisuseke kuhlalo amacala enkantolo.
Thank you. My instruction is that Mr. Ntanzi was taken to court. First appearance of Mr. Ntanzi was on the 27th of October 2020.
Ek dra geen kennis daarvan nie.
I have no knowledge of that. ukuthi ke waqala ukuya ngqa enkantolo ngezi-27 October 2020 angikwazi lokho.
The question, as per the previous question, as per the previous answer you gave, if Mr. Ntanzi was brought before you as a magistrate on the 27th of October, if he was arrested on the 16th of June, you would strike the matter of the roll. Is that correct?
Ek sal eers 'n ondersoek doen in terme van artikel 342A, aangesien ek geen sake kan verwyder van die rol sonder sodanige ondersoek nie.
I would first have held the inquiry, the section 342A inquiry. I cannot just remove a case or strike a case off the roll without such an inquiry. Uma kuwukuthi ke wayevela phambi kwami ngazo lezo 27 ka October 2020 kube yena ke waboshwa ziwu-16 June 2020 bengeke nje ngibese icala ngilisuleke kodwa bengizoqala ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi kwakungani.
From the version of the accused to say his first appearance was on the 27th of October 2020 and he was arrested on the 16th. According to this version, it was not a reasonable time for him to be brought to court. Do you agree?
Ek het nie al die feite.
Yes, my lord. I think it's wrong for my learned friend to put a question that is not correct to the witness. He's in possession of proceedings in other cases, and unless he specifies his question, that question that is put into the witness is not correct.
For clarity, I'm referring to this specific case. I'm referring to this matter.
Advokaat, ek kan net gaan op die woord van u kliënt toe hy gesê het hy is op die 16de gearresteer.
Advocate, I can only take or go based on your client's word or what the client told me that he was arrested on the 16th of June 2020. Mina ke ngingathatha nje kuphela lokho engalitshelwa ke wilo omele ukuthi waboshwa nge-16th ka June 2020.
Ek kan nie sê of hy op hierdie saak gearresteer was of op 'n ander saak nie. Ek weet nie wanneer hy verskyn het op wat nie en ek weet ook nie wanneer hy verskyn het op hierdie saak nie.
And I cannot tell as to whether he was arrested on that date on this particular matter or on another matter, and I cannot say when he did not appear or which matter.
I'll leave that for argument, ma'am. Let's just proceed on something else. May I proceed to ask the following question? This is the pro forma. This is the statement. These are attachments. I'm referring to the copies of the IDs of the officers. Does that all this constitute a confession?
Die verklaring ten opsigte van die konfessie self is aangeheg met die voorvereistes om te kom tot daai verklaring is ook aangeheg.
Okay. The statement is also the statement is attached together with the requirements to get to that particular statement. Istatement lesi kanye nalokho okufunekayo noma okudingekayo ukuthi uyofika kusona ke statement kuhlanganisiwe.
Die verklaring sluit met ander woorde my bevinding in na aanleiding van die vrae wat gevra is, die antwoorde wat gegee is.
Now that then includes, that is now my finding with regards to the questions that I posed as well as the answers that were given. Lokho kokufaka phakathi ke imibuzo engayibuza kanye futhi neimpendulo engayithola nesinqumo engafinyelela kusona.
My question will be,
Dit vorm saam 'n deel van die verklaring in terme van artikel 217.
It then forms part of the statement in terms of section 217. Kube kusuba yingxenye ke yasoke istatement lesi ke statement esenzwe phansi kwakhe ke usection
Maar die
217.
bekentenis self ten opsigte van wat die deposant vir my gesê het ten opsigte van die misdaad is net ten opsigte van aanhangsel A.
But then the statement with regards to what it is that the deponent informed me with regards to the commission of the offense itself is then annexure A. Kuse kuthi ke sona ke istatement lesi la khona ke engichazela kona ke ukuthi yini impela eyenzeka mayela ke necala leli bona ke bese kuba uannexure A.
Die bekentenis self is dis 'n annexure A, maar die hele dokument sluit die verrigtinge in totaliteit in.
The confession itself is annexure A, but the entire document contains the proceedings as a whole. Bese kuthi yona ke i-confession lena noma i-statement lesawasenza ke kuba annexure A, kodwa ke uma usuwahlanganisa ewonke ke kufaka konke okwenzeka ngaleli yalanga.
Okay. So, I just want clarity. Annexure A consists of 6 pages, 1 to 6. Is that so?
Dis korrek?
That is correct. Annexure A ke ama page awu 6 1 yofika ku 6.
From that statement, that is the statement of the confessor or the deponent. Is that correct?
Dis korrek?
That is correct. Futhi lesa statement ke statement esalona ke owayekhuluma kumina engitshela.
For the benefit of the public, was it supposed to be commissioned, signed and commissioned before a commission of oath?
Nee.
No. Kwangafaneleke ukuthi sibe sasayindwa ke sisiwe ke kumuntu obizwa ngokuthi commissioner ke ozobeka ke istem.
Was the statement signed?
Ja.
Yes, yebo istatement esasayindwa.
All right. May I approach my colleague?
Yes, yes.
My lord. Are you in possession of the statement?
Yeah,
Dis korrek?
that is correct.
Can we go to the last page, I think page 6 of the statement? Page 6 of the statement. Are you there?
Dis korrek?
That is correct.
Do you see the signature of the deponent?
Hy het hier sy initial gemaak. Die volle handtekening verskyn op bladsy 8. Nadat die verrigtinge voltooi is, het ek hom versoek om die volle handtekening te maak op die laaste bladsy wat bladsy 8 was van hierdie en dan het ons almal geteken.
It's only his initials that appear there, but his full signature is on page 8. That's when everything was now completed, when I requested him to sign, and we all signed. Ukuthi ke asayindeke akasayindanga lapha kule page 6 wabeka njena ke ama initials akhe kwase kuthi ke upage 8 page lokugcina ke ila khona ke singamcela ukuthi asayinde uma seqedwe konke nathi ke sase siyasayinda.
All right. From page 1, if I may ask you to peruse it. Peruse from page 1 up to page 5. Do you see any signature of the deponent?
Nee, net sy paraaf.
No, it's only his initials. Akasayindanga ku page 1 yofika ku page 5 ukuthi nje ubeka nje ama initials akhe.
My instruction is that he has never or did not attach any initials and he did not sign any statement, especially in front of you.
Dis 'n formuleen.
That is a lie. Amanga nje lawo ukuthi nje akakazi asayindeke phambi kwami noma ke abekeke ama initials akhe.
Sorry, I'm not interfering with your interpretation. Say, sir, let us and familian.
Dis korrek?
Can you just say it in English?
Infama. See?
It's an absolute lie.
It's a notorious lie.
Yes.
Yeah?
You said he signed on page 8.
Dis korrek?
That is correct.
Page 8 is a pro forma.
Dis korrek?
That is correct.
It's not a statement.
Dis korrek?
That is correct. Kuyiqiniswa ukuthi ngithe usayine ku page 8 nokuthi ke kuyi performer ke akusona istatement.
A statement is separate from a pro forma. A pro forma is to insulate an inquiry before making a statement. Is that so?
Ek kan dit seker so interpreteer.
Maybe you can interpret it as such. Mhlambe ke ungakubeka kanjalo ke ukuthi iform lena ke yona ke ihlukile kusona istatement
Jy moet net
awusenze.
onthou dat wanneer ons die bekentenis afneem, die proses in een loop.
You just have to remember that when we take down a confession that this process is a continuous process.
So ons hanteer die, of ek het die formaliteitsvereistes eerstes hanteer, en toe hy die verklaring wou aflê, het ek dit gedoen, en ek het agterna, het ons hierdie dokumente onderteken, nadat hy bevestig het dat alles korrek is,
I first
ten
as-
opsigte van sy verklaring.
I first started with the requirements or with the formalities that is now on the front pages, and then when he wanted to make the statement, I then proceeded with that, and then that is when now the documents had now to be signed.
May I just hand over to you a pro forma that has a statement which has also made with the same intentions of taking a confession. This is just a confession which was taken by somebody else, which I just want to show you that there is a difference between that statement and the statement that I'm going to hand it over to you. With the leave of the court, may I hand it over to her for
Yes.
comparison, my lord.
Mr. Baloyi?
This is a pro forma used by Commission to Office Justice of the Peace. I don't know whether one can really compare the two.
Wait. You say it's a pro forma?
Of a statement taken down by Justice of the Peace. Not a magistrate.
Not a magistrate?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
So we're not comparing apples with apples.
My lord, actually the main thing is I'm not going to the pro forma per se, to the statement in which the signature of the deponent appears in the statement. Do you see that?
Ek neem kennis.
I take note.
So the statement, you see that there's a pro forma and a statement.
Ek sien dit.
I see that. Yabona ke ukuthi kune form ke yokubiza ukuthi performer kanye ne statement.
In that statement, there is a thumbprint from each and every page. Do you confirm that? If not all pages, but there's a thumbprint in that
Ek is net
statement.
besig om te kyk as jy maar net die geleentheid sal gun.
Just give me an opportunity. I'm busy checking.
Ek sien die duimafdruk.
I see the thumbprint. Ngiyasibona-ke isithupha lesi esibekiwe.
Do you see the initials at the bottom of the first page of the statement?
Ek sien daar's 'n geskribbel.
I see that it's scribbled there. Ngiyabona kukhona nje kubhaliwe laphayana.
Daar lyk soos 'n handtekening langs die duimafdruk en dan lyk daar soos 'n of dit 'n O of 'n Q of 'n X is en dan nog so 'n skribbel. So ek kan nie sê of dit 'n handtekening of 'n initial is nie.
I see
En of
that-
dit net 'n maak is nie.
I see that there's something that looks or appears like a signature next to the thumbprint, and then there's something that looks like an O, a Q, or an X, and then there's another scribble. I cannot confirm as to whether that's a signature.
Now let's go to the last page of that statement. What do you see there? Last page. The
Watse
last,
deel
Which part?
Watse deel verwys u nou na?
Which part are you referring to?
the last page of the statement.
Van die konfessie.
Yeah.
Ja,
What do you see there?
dieselfde geskribbel.
The same scribble. Ngibona nje leyo mbhalo ofanayo.
En bo dit verskyn signature of justice of peace.
And then on top of that it appears a signature. Sorry.
Ekskuus. Onder die geskribbel
Okay.
verskyn dit a signature of justice of the peace in die volle name.
Just underneath that scribbling then appears the signature of justice of the peace as well as the full names. Amagama ke alowo ke ukuthiwa uyena ke wayithatha amagama akhe aphelele.
En heel onderaan is daar weer 'n duimafdruk
And once again right at the bottom there's another thumbprint. Phinde ke ezantsi kube nesithupha
met 'n ander handtekening.
with another signature.
So there, do you see the signature of the deponent? On the same page.
Nee, want hier's net 'n duimafdruk. So ek twyfel sterk dat iemand van die justice of the peace of sy kantoor het met 'n duimafdruk gaan teken. So ek kan nie vir u sê wie se handtekening is wie se nie.
Okay,
Ah,
sorry.
no, it's
Of
only,
wie se merk is wie se of wie se duimafdruk is hierso nie.
it's only a thumbprint, and I doubt strongly that a justice of the peace would then just put his thumbprint. So I cannot confirm which signature belong to who here from that which appears here. Ngibona nje isithupha lana futhi ke ngiyangabaza ukuthi ke umuntu okuyena ke owayethatha le statement kungawuyena ke ongabeka isithupha. Ngeke ngisho ukuthi le signature ngibona la ukuthi ekabani.
May I rephrase it? May I rephrase my question? The signature that appears on behalf of the words justice of peace, other than that signature, is there any signature on that page that you see?
Daar is 'n handtekening net bo die thumbprint.
There is
Duimafdruk of ek weet nie wat se vinger hier af vingerafdruk is nie. Duim, voorvinger, middelvinger, ek weet nie.
there's a signature just above the thumbprint. I cannot say it's the thumbprint, it's the middle finger or which finger it is, but there is a signature above that.
Normaalweg behoort daar geskryf te wees wat se vingerafdruk daar gevat is.
Normally it should be indicated there as to which particular finger was taken. Kufanele ngenjwayelo ke kuvamise ukuthi ke kubhalwe ke ukuthi imuphi umunwe loyana obekiwe lapha.
Ek vind dit ook onwaarskynlik dat 'n getuie 'n thumbprint sal gee. So ek weet nie of die handtekening by hierdie vingerafdruk dien as 'n getuie tot wie se vingerafdruk gevat is of nie.
I also find it that for me it would be improbable that a witness would put his thumbprint, and now there is a signature next to that thumbprint. I don't know whether that is now to witness as to whose finger that is printed on there. Nokuthi futhi ke ufakazi angathi abesebeka isithupha sakhe ke naloko ke kuyinto engabazisayo, nokuthi futhi kube sekuyasayindwa ke eduze kwaleso sithupha leso ngazi nokuthi lo muntu uyasho noma uchaza ukuthi umunwe kabani lo ya.
So u vra my met alle respek om op hierdie stadium te spekuleer op wie se vingerafdruk is hier en wie se handtekening is hier. Ek neem aan die handtekening wat lyk soos 'n Q en 'n X en daar geskribbel is die Justice of the Peace. Dit is die vrederegter se handtekening bloot op feit dat op die laaste bladsy daai selfde handtekening bo die lyntjie verskyn waaronder getik is justice of the peace signature.
And
So,
with all due respect, now you are asking me to speculate with regard to this, and but where that there's that scribble, I just assume that that one would be now a signature belonging to the justice of the peace, because if you look at the last page, just above where it's written signature of justice of the peace, that signature is above that. Lana ke umcela nje noma uthi kumina ke angicabangele nje noma ngiqageleke ukuthi ubani obesayinda la, ubani obebeka isithupha, kodwa ke la kungathi khona ke kunaleyo mbhalo ongathi u-O, u-Q noma u-X, ngicabanga ukuthi yilona ke owayethatha istatement lesi.
So, ma'am, the purpose of this exercise, the reason for giving you that statement is to compare your statement and the statement that is in front of you. That they are different, totally different.
meneer, met alle respek, ek weet nie wat u wil vergelyk en hoe sê u dit is verskillend nie. Hierso het 'n persoon die verklaring onderteken met 'n duimafdruk.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know what it is that you find to be different and what it is that you want to compare, because here a person made a statement and confirmed that with a thumbprint.
In my verklaring is dit bevestig deur die deposant by wyse van 'n initial.
And in my statement, it was then confirmed by the deponent by means of initialing.
So die
sorry, ma'am.
deposante in hierdie geval het verskillende maniere gebruik om die verklaring te onderteken, of dit nou 'n merk is, 'n handtekening is of 'n duimafdruk is.
Now, in these two different statements, the deponents made use of different means to confirm their statements, whether it's by a mark, by a signature, or by a thumbprint.
Ma'am, sorry, please, can I afford me to ask a question? This is your statement. This is the statement that was made in front of you. This one.
Dis korrek.
Dat is
Dit is
korrek.
bladsy sien heel bo.
Signature of the deponent. Do
Nee,
you
maar daar's nog
agree?
steeds 'n initial hier. So of hy nou sy thumbprint daar gesit het, vol geteken het, 'n kruisie gemaak het, sy neusafdruk gesit het, hy het dit onderteken.
But now there is an initial here. Whether he initialed, he put a cross, a thumbprint, or his nose print, but he did put something there. Lana ke ukuthi ke akasayindile, kodwa ke ubekile ke ama initials wakhe, noma ke bekuyikhala libekile, noma isithupha sibekile, noma wenze i-cross.
I'm not talking about the initials. I'm talking about the signature. What is important is to inform the court that the statement was never signed. There's no signature of the deponent here. In page 6.
Nee, daar's nie 'n wetlike vereiste dat hy sy volle handtekening moet gee op hierdie stadium daar nie. Hierso is en ek weet nie eens wie dit gedoen het nie. U wys vir my 'n bekentenis. Ek weet nie wie se bekentenis dit is nie. U wys vir my 'n bekentenis voor 'n vrede regter met 'n duimafdruk. U is tevrede met daai duimafdruk. Maar u het 'n beswaar omdat 'n persoon nie in hierdie konfessie of bekentenis van my 'n volle handtekening gemaak het nie.
Yes, you are showing to me, firstly, there is no legal requirement for a person to do that. You are showing me here a statement where a person has put down a thumbprint and you are satisfied with that. On my side, a person initialed and you are not satisfied with that.
Thank
but
you.
are satisfied with the thumbprint.
Mits ek u verkeerd verstaan as jy dit net kan duidelik stel.
Maybe I misunderstood you. If you can just put it correctly or much clearer.
Can you interpret it, Mr.?
Sorry. Which part now?
All right, may I rephrase the questions? Let's just rephrase the question. My question, very simple. At the end of the statement, page 6, last page of the statement that you have taken, other than the alleged initials, there is no signature of the deponent. That's what I'm asking.
Daar is nie 'n volle handtekening van die deposant nie. U is heeltemal 100% reg.
You're 100% correct. There is no signature of the a full signature of the deponent. Uqinisile ngokuthi ku page 6 kulesi sami statement ayikho ka noma akasayindile ngokugcwele.
May I have that statement, please? Thank you very much on that exercise.
Are you not handing out that document?
Sorry, ma'am.
Are you not handing out that document?
No, man.
What's the value then of that if the court can't even see it?
Somebody's coming to testify on that statement, man.
That's not the point. This is the witness who's being cross-examined on the two documents, that document. And I'm saying, are you not handing it up? That's all I want.
I'm sorry, my lord, the time annexures were handed to the court. It's one of the annexures. I just want to confirm because I was not present
Okay.
at that time. It's marked J. What? It's marked.
Hy verwys na hierdie.
H, my lord.
H8.
HH.
HH.
So it's just a pro forma, my lord, I beg your pardon, because the statement is part of the redacted parts. So may I reserve that for my argument in the event a statement will...
Reserve handing up the document.
It's just that your lordship will not have sight of the statement at
Yes,
the moment.
correct.
But if the court is inclined to look just at the back of just for the purpose of the exercise, to compare the last page of the statement attached under HH and the statement attached under JJ, only the last part of the statement, not on the contents of the...
I see your colleague there smiling. Mr. Mr. Baloyi.
We are of the view that the entire document must be handed up.
No. No. Rather, let me withdraw the question.
And the document. Because
And
the
the
handing up of the
document.
document, sorry, sir.
And my lord,
The handing up of the document is predicated in support of your cross-examination of this witness, where you said, and the facsimile, which you say she must compare her confession together with the attachments or the annexures to that, the state.
yes, that it cannot be handed over prior to the ruling in terms
No,
of
I'm
the
aware of that.
administration. Yes.
But that's that statement, the one which you say belongs to some other person.
Yes.
Why can't this court have sight of it? Because you are using it for comparative reasons, are you not?
I am, my lord.
Yes, I'm aware. So you are saying you are withdrawing the question now?
Because when I'm consulting with my colleagues here, I was not part of what was discussed. But if they discourage me to hand over the last page, because I indicated that only the last page for the sake of comparison, because it consists of certain parts of the statement. So that is the fear that my colleagues have for the court to have sight of.
Yeah, this is a danger you undergo when you use a document which can only be disclosed to viewing after the court has, if it has, or if it does rule that that statement was made freely and voluntary, etc. You are the one who opens the can of worms.
No, it's fine.
And yet you, all of you refuse me to listen to an audio recording.
It's not
Now
us.
you want me to view a statement,
My lord, is the law. It's not us. May I withdraw this?
No,
ask-
it's your choice.
May I would like to withdraw it, but that will be subject of my argument. May I withdraw the last part of my question in relation to the,
So the last part of your question is withdrawn.
on page 6 of the accused statement.
Okay.
But I'm happy that the witness has confirmed that there's no signature of the deponent.
But if you say you've withdrawn that last part of the question, then her answer also.
And the answer, not the
Consequential,
answer.
on your saying you're withdrawing it.
The
You're
comparison.
actually saying the court should not take that answer, which was elicited by your last question,
Man-
by this witness.
May I
You're saying
clarify, my
basically that.
May I clarify this?
Okay.
I'm withdrawing the comparison of both statements, but I'm not withdrawing the question that there is no signature of the deponent on the statement she has made. That's what I'm withdrawing, the comparison of the statements, but not the answer she has already tendered before this court.
And you're saying you're not going to hand up that document.
The document will be handed over at a later stage.
Mr. Barry, what's your reaction? Oh,
Well, I suppose my colleague is in charge. If he withdraws the comparison, then it means his questions and answers are now off the record, pro non scripto basically.
yes, Mr. Mgomezulu?
All right, ma'am, let me have that statement that I gave you, the last statement that I gave you, so that I can safely put it on record, that
Verkeer tot en met daai signature is die signature ten volle aangeteken.
Yes, there is no signature from that page, as you say, as well as the other pages, up until the page that the witness is now referring to, page 8, ne? Is where it says now his signature is now on. Yebo kuqiniswa-ke ukuthi kuphela-ke initial ayibekile lapha akuna signature ku-page yokugcina-ke yestatimende uqhubeka-ke kodwa kuze kuyofika-ke.
I said, you verstaan, is op bladsy 6. Daar's nie 'n
Agbare,
Tekening.
soos wat die verrigtinge plaasgevind het voor
dis-
my,
ja.
het al die verrigtinge eers plaasgevind. Dit
That's
sluit
it.
in die voorvereistes en toe die eetsverklaring.
That's it.
Waarna hy gevra is om dan sy volle handtekening te bring en elke bladsy te initial.
That's it.
Hierdie bladsy 8 het ek aanvanklik op hierdie verklaring wat ek oorhandig het, heel agter gehad.
Right.
Dit is, lyk my, teruggeskuif na sy oorspronklike plek toe. So, selfs die sertifikaat van die tolk was heel agter gesit.
Right.
So, ja, ten opsigte van bladsy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 en 6 van die verklaring self van die voorval, van die beweerde voorval, is daar net initials.
That's it. Yeah.
Nie 'n volle handtekening nie.
And then on page 8,
En dan die ander ook net initials en dan die laaste bladsy wat ek beskou na aanleiding van die verrigtinge afgeloop het, 'n volle handtekening.
the last bladsy according to your,
Volgens die verrigtinge wat plaasgevind het voor
Ja.
my.
what is the last page according to you?
Bladsy 8.
Page-
Volgens die dokumente soos wat dit op die proformas gemerk was.
Bladsy 8.
Page 8 is
And you say there is a
Sorry.
signature,
Dis 'n volle handtekening.
which is preceded by what? Can you understand me? Did he sign because it says, having made the statement, that's what I understood you, just put it on record, ma'am.
Dis korrek. Ek
Dis-
het na die tyd toe alles afgeneem is gesê teken volle handtekening. Hy het dit geteken, die volle handtekening, en ek het vir hom ook gevra om elke bladsy te initial wat hy ook gedoen het.
After the completion of the proceedings, I then requested him to sign, which he did, and then requested him to initial each page, which he also did.
Okay.
So in page 8, I think it's referring to page 8 of the pro forma.
Now, is it not of the statement?
The statement consists of 6 pages.
6 pages, yeah, okay.
The pro forma consists of 9 pages, if I'm not mistaken, or 8 pages. or if not 9.
Ja.
Okay.
Advokaat, die proses soos wat dit afgeloop het voor my, was nie dat daar gevra is teken enige iets.
Advocate, the process as it unfolded before me, it was not to such to the extent that you were just asked sign each and everything. Yeah.
Daar was met ander woorde nie gehandel met die voorvereistes en toeste handtekeninge aangebring.
For an example, it was not the prerequisites that were dealt with and then thereafter asking for signatures. Indlela ke okwenzeka ngayo kwakusuka ukuthi uqala achazelweke ukuthi iform ihamba kanjani bese kuyacelwa ukuthi asayine, yeah.
Die voorvereistes is hanteer. Daarna het ons oorgegaan op die konfessie.
Okay, the prerequisites were handled or dealt with. Thereafter, we moved to the confession. Siphaleke ngaloku okhona kwiform la ngaphambili sase siyandlulela kusona istatement.
En nadat die konfessie gemaak is, het hy sy volle handtekening aangebring. Dit is die handtekening op bladsy 8 en het hy elke bladsy geparafeer.
Now, after the completion of the confession, he was then requested to sign, that is now the signature which he brought on page 8. Thereafter, requested to initial each page. Celiweke uma sengabe seqediwe ukubhala sona istatement ukuthi assigned ila assigned khona ke ku page 8 basecelwa ukuthi abeka ama initials ku page nganye.
May I just put this version? The signature that appears on page 8 is in dispute.
Ek neem kennis.
The
I take
accused,
note. Ngiyakuzwa ke uma uthi ke uyayiphikisa ke le signature elapha ku page
the
8.
accused left that office without appending a signature to any of the documents that were in front of him.
Ek gaan 'n retoriese vraag vra. Wie sou dan namens hom geteken het? Want ek sê vir u nou, hierdie man het geteken voor my, voor sy prokureur en voor die tolk.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a rhetoric question. Who would have then now signed in his space or in his place? Because this gentleman signed in the presence of his legal representative, in the presence of the interpreter. Uma kuukuthi uthike wahamba lapho engasayindanga, ubani kwasayinde endaweni yakhe, ngoba usayinde ummeli wakhe khona, utolika ekhona.
Die tolk, sowel as hierdie prokureur, kan daaroor getuig as u my woord in twyfel trek.
The interpreter, as well as this legal representative, can now attest to that if it is now that you are disputing that
Gesien in die
which
lig
I am
daarvan dat
saying.
die bandopname wat die prosedure volledig uiteensit nie toegelaat is vir redes op rekord nie.
Taking into account that the recording which now recorded the proceedings was not admitted in court or as part of evidence. Lana ke uma kuukuthi ke lokho engikushoyo mina ke uyangabaza noma ke awukuthathi ke utolika nalo mmeli lo owayekhona usebengabizwa ke bazoqinisekisa ke lokhu mina ke engikushoyo.
Okay, may I just put this version? Before, can you please read, before the alleged signature, there's a sentence on page 8.
Is that part of the statement, sir?
The pro forma, my lord, sorry.
Oh, it's not the part of the statement.
pro forma.
The pro forma, okay.
On page 8.
Yeah, because I'm entitled legally to have
The
sight of the pro forma.
Thank you, my lord.
The statement is now signed by the department by means of his signature.
Istatement ke manje siyasayindwa ke lona ke bewenza istatement ngokuthi asayinde.
Hierdie bladsy is geteken na alles afgeloop is.
This page was signed after everything had been done. Die page
Toe het
lena
hy volledig geteken, die tolk het volledig geteken en ek het volledig geteken en die tyd van completion van hierdie hele verrigting was 20 minute oor 5 die middag.
He signed in full, the interpreter signed in full, I then signed, and then the time of completion of these entire proceedings was 20 past 5. Lana ke uyena ke owasayinda ke futhi ke idocument lena isigned emuva kokuthi konke sekwenziwe seqediwe
So
ke.
hierdie handtekeninge is nie afgeneem na completion van die verrigtinge van die proforma vorm nie. Dit is gedoen nadat die proforma vorm voltooi is tot in bladsy 7 en die konfessie afgeneem is en hy gevra is toe om te teken.
Now this signature, which appears on page 8, was not appended after the completion of the proforma. It was after the proforma was done up to page, you said page? Yes, 7, yes, and then the confession was taken down, and then it was only then after it had been completed when he now appended his signature on page 8. Ukusayinda-ke kwakhe la ku page 8 akwenzekanga ngemuva kokuthi sesiqede isigaba sokuqala seform lokubizwa ukuthi i-proforma iqediwe leyo sangena kwistatimende emuva kwalokho-ke yila khona-ke asesayina khona.
All right. The signature of the attorney who was present, was it not necessary to be appended?
Ek het dit nie nodig geag dat die prokureur ook moes teken nie.
I didn't see the need or see it necessary for the lawyer to also sign. Angizange kuboneke kuyisidingo ukuthi umeli naye asayine.
But if he signed, it was going to be much easier to see that he was present on that day. Do you agree?
Meneer, ek het
Sorry, ma'am. If he signed, if the attorney, as you say, he was present on that day, if he signed, that's just a general question.
Meneer,
If he
met alle
signed,
respek, al het hierdie man geteken, sou u nog steeds in lig van die omstandighede dit ontken het. Ek het hier opgeteken dat hierdie man teenwoordig was, meneer Njako, en u glo dit nie. Ek glo nie dat enige handtekening eers 'n verskil sou maak nie.
Even if he had signed, you would still, under the circumstances, you would still have disputed it, because I wrote here Mr. Dominic Mjiako, but still you are still not taking my word. So I don't say that any signature would have made a difference.
Sy Fidelity Fund sertifikaatnommer voorgee dat enige verdere handtekeninge 'n verskil sou
Respect the fact that it is your instruction, but I am saying to you that any other signature would have made a difference here, because you and your clients would not have accepted that. Ukuthi ke umjiyako ngabe usayindile lana, angiboni ukuthi bekuzokwenza umehluko lokho, ngoba ke nansi ke nenamba yakhe ke ye-Fidelity Funds ibhaliwe lapha, kodwa ke naloko awukwamukeli ukuthi nokuthi ke yiloko okutshelwa umsola. Ngiyakuhlonipha ke, kodwa angiboni ukuthi nje i-signature enye ibizokwenza umehluko kule document.
may I just put my version, the version of the accused? Because I can see that nothing on this pro forma that has been attached, that one may conclude that an attorney was present at the time of the, but let me just put the version of the accused. When he was brought to you, before he was brought to you, I know you were not present. It's going to be it's not going to be a fair question, because you were not present at that time when the alleged torture was occurred or was conducted on the accused. But my instruction before you descend on that box is to tell you that he was subjected to a severe assault, severe torture in 4 different places before he was brought to you to make such a confession. Can you comment on that?
Ja, advokaat, hierdie man het op verskeie kere of verskeie wyse vir my te kenne gegee dat hy nie aangerand was nie.
I advocate this gentleman made it known to me on several occasions, in several ways, that he was not assaulted. Lo mlisa-ke wangitshela-ke amahlandla-ke nangeindlela-ke ithizeke ukuthi akakaze ashaywe.
Geen beserings is, dit ek net klaar praat, geen beserings is genotuleer nie, waargeneem deur my nie. Toe ek hom gevra het hy enige beserings, kan hy dit uitwys, is geen beserings deur hom aan my uitgewys, behalwe ou merke wat reeds gesond geword het ten opsigte van voorval wat hy opgedoen het met sy ouma toe hy 'n kind was.
No injuries were shown or pointed out to me or were visible to me. Even when I had asked him about those or such injuries, he referred me or mentioned to me old wounds or injuries that occurred or was as a result of an incident between himself and his grandmother when he was still very young. Akukho ukulimala awangibonisa kona noma awakusho kumina, futhi ke nokulimala angitshengisa kona noma akhuluma ngako ila athi walimala khona esemncane kakhulu ke kwisehlakalo esasihlanganisa yena ke nogogo wakhe.
Daar was geen rede hoekom hy dit nie vir my kon rapporteer nie. Daar was geen rede as hy nog beserings gehad het wat veroorsaak was deur aanranding deur die polisie of deur enige iemand aan my kon uitwys nie.
There was no reason that he preferred to me or that he should not have appointed or shown me or told me about those injuries or injuries that he had at the stage or that were caused by police on him. Sasingekho ke nesizathu esasingambangela noma esasimbangela ukuthi angangitshengisi noma angangitsheli ke ngokulimala owayenako okwabangelwa ke noma amaphoyisa.
En in lig daarvan dat u sê hy op 3 of 4 geleenthede soos wat u dit noem en ek hul aan severely assaulted was, vind ek dit baie vreemd dat hy dit nie vir my sou noem ten minste nie.
I find it very strange what you just mentioned now that as you said that on 3 or 4 different occasions that he would at least not have mentioned it to me. Kuyangimangaza-ke ukuthi nanjengoba usho ukuthi lo mlisa-ke washaywa-ke amahlandla ahlukile amathathu noma amahlandla amane ukuthi nje akakaze nje angitshele ngalokho.
All right. And you'll agree with me that you can dispute that, is fine. I'm just putting the version of the accused. Whether you believe it or not, it's fine. But what would be your take? You are handcuffed, and as per your words in that pro forma, you said the police were heavily armed. Psychologically, did not that have manipulated his mental ability? I know you are not a doctor, but psychologically, on the observation, here are the police heavily armed.
Meneer, ek gaan nie so antwoord. Een is reg, ek is nie 'n mediese praktisyn of 'n sielkundige om te weet wat die sielkundige uitwerking het op 'n persoon wat daar staan met boeie aan nie. Maar hierdie man het glad nie voorgekom as iemand wat vreesagtig is.
Sir, you are right that I am not a medical practitioner and I also don't know as to what the psychological effect thereof would be. But this gentleman, as he was there, he didn't appear as someone who was fearful.
Hy het kalm voorgekom.
He appeared calm.
Hy was baie rustig geweest, hy het baie rustig gepraat met my.
He was very relaxed and he was even relaxed when he spoke to me.
Hy was begeerig om te praat.
He really wanted to talk.
Hy het selfs die boeie aan sy hande was los. Dit het geklink soos 'n vrou wat los bangles dra. Dit was los om sy gewrigte.
Even the handcuffs were loose. They sounded like a lady who was having bangles around because they were loose in his arms.
Toe ek met hom gepraat het en vir hom gevra hoe gaan dit? In die begin toe hy daar in die kantoor ingekom het hy my ek het hom gegroet, hy het my teruggegroet. Ek het hom gevra hoe gaan dit? Hy het vir my gesê dit gaan baie goed, dankie. Hy het intedeel vir my teruggevra hoe gaan dit met my en ek het gesê goed. So hierdie man het nie voorgekom soos enige persoon wat vreesagtig was, bang was, beangs was, aangerand was, niks nie.
And as I entered there, I greeted him, I asked him how he was, he responded to me and he even asked me back as to how I was, and as this gentleman was there, never appeared to be someone who was fearful, someone who was anxious. Lo muntu ke noma ke umlisa lona ke kwakungasiyena ke umuntu owayesaba ebonakala noma ebukeka ke umuntu osabayo, kwakubonakala ukuthi umuntu onesifiso noma ofunayo ukuthi akhulume nabo ke ozankosi laba befakwe ezandleni zakhe ke babe ngaboshiwe babe loose la kuyena ke uze yenza isibonelelo wathi kwakuwathi umuntu wesimame ofake ama bangles a loose la kuyena ke ezandleni zakhe. Ngambulisa noma ke ngambingelela uma ngena ngambuza ukuthi ukahle yini, wangiphendula naye futhi wangibingelela wangibuza ukuthi ngikahle yini.
Inteendeel, die enigste antwoord wat hy vir my gegee het julle by ooreenkoms uitgehaal uit die vereistes uit. En dit was glad nie 'n refleksie op die polisie gewees.
And there is
Of
only
iets wat hulle sou doen nie.
And it is only, there is one thing that he told me, but it is one of those redacted versions, one of those that you redacted, and it was never anything that pointed to the police. Sorry?
Or what they did.
Or what they did. Kunye nje kodwa ke awangitshela kona ke kodwa ke ngeshwa kuyingxenye yalokhu ke enithi ke ngiyacela ukuthi angafundwa ke noma ke nikusulileke la ku statement ke kodwa lokho kwakungasiyona nje inkomba kumaphoyisa noma lokho abakwenza.
Okay. I hear what you are saying. On all what you are saying, these police officers which you took, I think one of them you said is Lisareng, something like that. According to my instruction, is that all that was happening there, it happened in the presence of the police. I think 2 or 3 police that were there. It is Mukhano and other 2 Metropolis officers. Do you dispute that?
As u sê all that was happening there, kan u net
Taking the confession, completing the pro forma, not the assault.
Ekskuus, kan ek net weer duidelikheid kry oor die vraag? All that was happening there took place in the presence of the people that you quoted.
In room 2.
Is dit nou, is die bewering hulle was in die kantoor gewees toe hierdie verrigtinge plaasvind?
Is the allegation that they were in the office when these proceedings were underway?
Ekskuus, ek verstaan nie die stelling nie, ek wil net
The
duidelikheid.
I just
instruction,
want clarity, I don't understand.
the instruction is that when you took or when you conducted this interview, it was conducted in the presence of the police, including Mr. Mukhano. My question is, do you dispute that? Because other police officers were roaming around outside the office in the passage, as per your evidence.
Ontken ek daai bewering. Die kliënt weet dat die enigste tyd wat meneer Liesering en Jonathan in die kantoor was reg aan die begin gewees toe hulle aanstellingssertifikaat afskrifte vir my gegee het.
Okay, dankie. Advocate, I absolutely deny that instruction from your client. Your client knows very well that that is not true. The only time that Mr. Liesering as well as Jonathan were in the office, it was right at the beginning when they came to give me their appointment certificates. Uyazi-ke nalo nomele ukuthi akulona-ke iqiniso ukuthi ngale nkathi kwenzeka konke lokho ngithatha istatement ngikhuluma naye kwakudamaphoyisa phakathi. Phela kwesikhathi la khona uLisering kanye noJonathan babe phakathi kwakungesikhathi babeletheke ama-documents abo-ke la kwakufanele ukuthi ngiwahlanganise khona la.
Sergeant Mugwane het sy aanstellingssertifikaat vir my gegee en sy naam en goed vir my gegee nadat die deposant sy volle naam en van gegee het met sy identiteitsnommer waarna hy uit is uit die kantoor uit.
And then Sergeant Mukhane then gave me his particulars or his name and surname as well as certificate. It was after the deponent had given me his particulars, his name and surname, his date of birth, and thereafter he was out of the office.
En daarna het die kwessie ten opsigte van die prokureur ter sprake gekom. Die deposant het die prokureur uitgewys, dis sy prokureur, gesê die prokureur moet homself voorstel, prokureur het dit gedoen ensovoorts en die verrigting het 'n aanvang geneem. Nie enige van hierdie 2 persone wie se aanstellingssertifikate hier aan is, of hierdie sergeant Mogani was in daai kantoor gewees.
And then the question of the legal
Or no.
representative or the attorney then came up. That's when the deponent introduced or pointed out the gentleman as being his attorney, and the attorney confirmed that. And when that happened, none of these two gentlemen that you mentioned, or Jonathan and Lisering, as well as Mukhane, were in the office when that happened. Emuva kwalokho-ke kwase iy'nkathi-ke la khona-ke yena-ke umsolwa-ke eseyingichazela-ke noma ekhomba-ke ethi ummeli wami lona, ummeli wase uyakuvuma-ke lokho. Ngaleso sikhathi-ke akekho noyedwa kulabo babizayo-ke abo-Lisering, o-Jonathan kanye noMukhane ababekhona e-ofisini.
Ek weet nie hoe hy kon sien wat buite die kantoor aangaan nie, want ek kon dit nie sien nie, want daai deur was toe gewees. Almal was reeds uit by die kantoor uit gewees.
And I don't know how it is that he saw the movements outside, because I couldn't see that, because that particular door was closed and everyone was already out. Ukuthi-ke wakubona kanjani ukuthi kwakwenzekani ngaphandle, angazi ukuthi wakubona kanjani lokho, ngoba-ke isicabha lesi sasivaliwe. Mina-ke ngangingakuboni okwenzekayo ngaphandle, futhi babe sebephume bonke.
En teen daardie tyd het sergeant Mogani my reeds te kenne gegee dat die res van metro personeel wat daar teenwoordig was, geloop het in die gange weg. Hulle is weg. Hulle was nie daar gewees volgens hom nie.
And at that stage, I had already been informed by Sergeant Mukhane that the members, the Metro Police members that were in the passage, that they were gone, they were no longer there anymore. Ngaleso sikhathi-ke ngase ngitsheliwe uyena uMukhane ukuthi laba be-Metro Police ababekhona lapha epassagini babe sebengekho, behambile.
En teen daardie tyd, dit was toe ek vir hom gevra het, waar's die ander mense se besonderhede wat ek dit meegedeel was. So, toe sergeant Mogani uit die kantoor uit is, kon nie een van ons deur daai deur sien of deur die muur sien nie. Dit was toe gewees.
And it was now at that stage when I was then asking about the documents of the others, when he informed me about that. And after Sergeant Mukhane was out of the office, that door was closed, and we couldn't see through the door or through the wall. Ngaleso sikhathi leso-ke ngitshela lokho kwakuwukuthi-ke uMukhane ngangimbuza ukuthi akuphi ama-documents abanye, ila engitshela khona ukuthi bahambile-ke. Uthe uMukhane sephumile-ke e-ofisini, isicabha sasivaliwe, sasingeke sibone ngale kwesicabha noma ngale kodonga.
Toe hy uit die kantoor uit gegaan het, saam met sy prokureur, weet ek egter nie wat die omstandighede daar was en hoe hy daar verwyder is nie.
And when he left the office together with his attorney, I don't know what the circumstances were now there, around there, and to how he was taken away from there. Uma sephuma-ke noma esephumile ofisini kanye nommeli wakhe ukuthi wahanjiswa kanjani-ke kuso lapho angikwazi lokho.
Want toe ek uitstap, was daar niemand in die gang behalwe mevrou Du Plessis nie.
Because when I walked out, there was no one in the passage except Mrs. Du Plessis. Wangekho umuntu-ke epassage uma ngiphuma mina ngaphandle kwakhe uMrs. Du Plessis.
Then you ask the deponent whether he wanted to take a bath. Do you remember saying that?
Ek het vir hom verduidelik, as u gaan na die dokument toe,
If you go to the document, I explained to him
na bladsy, net kyk na die regte bladsy hierso. Bladsy 1, die voorbladsy.
page 1.
Yes.
Nee, wag net, so ek net hier kyk. Sien my net 'n geleentheid sal gun.
So just to give me a moment.
Goed. Op bladsy 4
Page 4
van paragraaf 8.
of paragraph 8.
Yes.
Goed. Ek het vir hom daai vraag gevra en kan ek hom maar inlees of
Can I read it in, that question?
Yes, please.
Ek het vir hom gevra, from the above mentioned questions and answers, it appears to me that the deponent
Sorry.
That's a finding that I
Sorry,
made.
ma'am, just a second. Just need to confirm if it has been redacted.
It hasn't been redacted.
No, yeah, not the redacted. You can read it.
Ek het hom daai vraag gevra, ten minste ek het daai stelling gelees, ek het dit intendeel vir hom uitgelees. En dan is daar 'n instruksie basies 'n voorstel. Indicate whether the deponent appears to be nervous, anxious, relaxed, tearful, jovial, and or whether he has any special requests. So ek het vir hom gevra of hy enige spesiale requests het.
There is that instruction there asking about the special request. So I basically asked him if he had any special request. Mina-ke ngambuza ukuthi sikhona yini isicelo anaso.
En sover my recollectie is, toe vra hy vir my soos wat?
And as far as I can recall, he then asked me something like,
En ek het-
wangibuza-ke ukuthi okufana nani into enjengani. Yes.
Ek het genoem, miskien 'n bad, ek weet nie wat jou behoefte is of wat jy nodig het nie, as 'n voorbeeld.
And then I mentioned to him maybe a bath. I don't know what your need is or what it is. Just as an example, ngase ngithi kuyena-ke mhlampe nje ukugeza-ke angazi ukuthi isidingo sakho siyini.
Waarna hy gesê het, I request a bath to contact my family and have an exchange of clothes and to call my child. En die rede hoekom ek verwys het na die bad is maar omdat hy vroeër vir my gesê het dat hy van die 16de Junie af nie gebad het nie. So logika sê vir 'n mens, as jy van die 16de af sê jy het nie gebad nie en daar word vir jou gevra wat se behoeftes jy dalk het, kan dit dalk een van die behoeftes wees. Ek het hom gevra, dis nie noodwendig dat hy dit gehad het nie of moes gehad het nie en dit was die antwoord gewees wat hy gegee het.
And the reason for me asking him that, it was based on what he had told me previously, that he hadn't taken a bath since the 16th of June 2020. So now logic tells you that if someone hadn't taken a bath for such a long time. So that is basically what I had asked him. Kuukuthi-ke lokho ngimbuza ukuthi kwasasiyini isidingo sakhe noma-ke ngoba wayengitshelile-ke ngaphambilini ukuthi kusuka ngesikhathi-ke engakaze ageze ngeyi-16 zikaJune. Lana-ke futhi okunye abekushilo ukuthi ngacela noma ngiyacela-ke ngicela ukuthi ngigeze ukuthi-ke ngixhumane nomndeni wami futhi-ke ngishintshe impahla lezi engiyigqokile nokuthi futhi ngishayele ucingo ingane yami.
Was that a direct communication between yourselves and the deponent, or was it interpreted through an interpreter?
Ek het dit direk aan hom gevra, die tolk het dit getolk en hy het vir my geantwoord en die tolk het teruggetolk. Sover ek kan onthou.
As far as I can remember, I asked him directly. The interpreter interpreted that, and then he responded, and it was interpreted back. Khumbula kahle-ke ukuthi ngabuza yena-ke uTolika wase ekhumusha-ke loko wangiphendula-ke wase futhi uphinde uTolika ekhumusha futhi.
Even the statement that was taken, was it sorry, what language was it?
Daar's aan my meegedeel dat hy Zulu praat.
It was mentioned to me that I was a Zulu speaking. Ngatshelwa ukuthi-ke ukhuluma isiZulu.
There's somewhere where you indicated that the deponent has a heart problem. Can you recall that in your pro forma?
Dis korrek, dis wat hy my meegedeel het.
That's correct, that's what he informed me. Ukuthi-ke wayinenkinga-ke ngenhliziyo, into angitshela yona leyo.
Did you bother to ask the nature of his illness, the extent or the condition at that time when he was before you? Whether he
Yeah.
need medical attention or not?
Nee,
No, angizange-ke ngimbuze-ke noma ngingene kabanzi-ke ngimbuze ngalokho noma ngifisa ukwazi-ke.
en die rede daarvoor, hy het nie gesê hy het nog steeds 'n hartprobleem nie. Hy het vir die hof gesê of vir my gesê hy het ene gehad. He had one, like in the past. Not have one or has one, like in the present. As hy vir my gesê dat hy nog steeds ene het, dan sou ek dit verder gevat het.
If he had indicated that he still had that problem, then I would have taken it further. Akusuke ukuthi-ke wayethi inkinga-ke leyo anayo-ke ngaleso sikhathi wayengitshela ukuthi kwakuyinto ayenayo ngaphambilini. Uma kuwukuthi wayengitshela ukuthi-ke kwakusaqhubeka-ke ngangizokwenza-ke nangangizoqinisekisa-ke ukuthi kukhona-ke okwenzekayo noma engikwenzayo.
Okay, before I conclude my cross-examination, I just want to ascertain myself if the aspects that, okay. Free and voluntary sound and super senses. May I approach accused number
Yes,
two?
yes, yes.
Thank you, my lord, for your indulgence. That concludes my cross-examination.
Okay,
Court
thank you.
pleases.
Any re-examination? Oh, sorry, not that, yeah, not that. What's your time there?
It's almost 3:30, but I think we can finish with the witness.
It's 3:30.
26 past.
26 past 3.
Yes.
You want us to continue?
Yes, I think we
Okay.
can finish with the witness.
Okay. Mr. Nisi, any questions?
My learned friends, I've got cross-examination. Maybe we can stand down until Monday. The witness has said she can still spare some time
Is that so?
on Monday.
Sal dit gerieflik word vir u aan maandag op dag.
Dit moet een of ander tyd gedoen word en so gou as moontlik, want of ek nou maandag kom of later kom, dit het 'n impak op my hof. Ek sal verkies dat ek dit oorkry sodat ek kan teruggaan voltyds na die kantoor.
Whether it's done anytime, my lord, because I would have to finish it because it has an impact on my court role, so it has to be done.
Okay, ek verstaan. So we continue on Monday, Mr. Nisi. You have the whole week, Monday.